Okay, so let's talk about this one. This is the last topic real quick. Tim Pool pretty much had on the gentleman we had on the other day, Gavin Mario Wax, the young Republican who talked about what was going on with the whole Robin Hood and the TD Ameritrade. I don't want to single out Robin Hood because there was a lot of other apps or brokerage firms that did the same thing. When they halted a stock, only one way. By the way, February 18th is when they're going to have a hearing down there. I saw Sister Maxine Waters, talk about that she's going to bring everybody there. I didn't like the rhetoric because she's going to say, we're bringing everybody there. We're bringing the people from Reddit, the Redditors here. We're bringing the people from Robinhood here. We're going to talk about everybody. We're going to listen to all sides. It's not some kumbaya thing. I want to see somebody from Congress saying, listen, you can bring everybody here or not. What they did is wrong.
Right.
They changed the rules in the middle of the way.
Yeah.
They made sure they halted the stock one way where you can only sell it. There is no defense about this. And right now, these people should be going to jail. They should be having a criminal investigation. Instead, they're going to have a big powwow, and Maxine Waters and the Democrats are like, we have to listen to all sides, what's going on. No, what they did was criminal. What they did was illegal. They might get away, it might be legal.
Right.
But that's the whole point. It should be illegal. It's bullshit. And when the little man, the common man, goes to try to make a few bucks, here go the bigwigs going, oh, no, and they stop them. I'm not watching the Mets this year because what Stephen Cohen did. But anyways, they went on and talked about this. Fam, not only did we get the article in Fox, Caitlin Johnstone helped us out, thank God, but the Blaze even wrote about us. Why do we have to rely on Republican media outlets to report this in the mainstream?
Kill all the what is it, G-Hive and all the freaking haters.
I said they were Republicans.
I told you they're making the turn right now. Look, look, the Blaze. Oh, look, Fox. See, Fiorella's gonna be do a show with Candace Owens so soon.
Candace and
she's the next Candace Owens.
Yeah, but then true leftists, Caitlin Johnson.
Well, that's what they were talking about too, as well, on this thing. It's like, you know, and Gavin Mario Wax said, you know, we're gonna have his quote over here. You'll hear what he says. He goes, "They're super leftists." He called us super leftists because we're on the left and stuff, and that's the problem right now. If you're an anti-establishment, you're being smeared as a right winger to the left wing crowd. And really, they need to get their head out of their ass, because every single time I talk to them, I'm like, where are you guys getting this? They're taking the talking points right from the establishment and the CIA, and they're regurgitating it into the progressive movement. No, not at all. So let's take a look. They break it on down. This is Tim Pool, or Timcast, with Gavin Mario Wax.
Well, let's talk about the censorship issue. And because of the lockdown, the mass social engineering. I have this story from theblaze.com. Now, I emphasize The Blaze. This is Glenn Beck, conservative, host of progressive media accounts, claim they've been arbitrarily demonetized by YouTube. Widespread crackdown, question mark. For the longest time, it was conservatives who were getting nuked predominantly. And now it seems to be swallowing up many progressives. They're not going after the establishment elite types, though. They're going after those who criticize Joe Biden. The Blaze says, several independent progressive media personalities spoke out recently claiming their YouTube accounts were arbitrarily censored by the video platform for publishing or covering content deemed harmful. Independent journalist Caitlin Johnstone first reported on the news, further advancing speculation that the Google-owned video company is engaging in a widespread content crackdown. Johnstone
We'll just go to 102,
wrote in the blog,
the 102.13. Yeah.
Post Wednesday that progressive commentators Graham Elwood, the Progressive Soapbox, the Convo Couch, Frank Analysis, Hannah Reloaded, and CyberDeviant531 have all received notifications from YouTube that their videos are no longer permitted to earn money through the platform's various monetization features, as has Ford Fisher, a respected freelancer who films U.S. political demonstrations.
Real quick, Cyberdemon is not a progressive.
Yeah. That's Pogs for Bernie.
Yeah.
But they don't know that.
We'll go over that.
Yeah.
That's, well, they don't know because they're not hanging out. This is why Republicans are reporting on this. If a leftist outlet was reporting on it, they wouldn't have those names in there. They would also have Niko House in there.
No, they quoted Caitlin there.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
Yeah.
So.
They are? Okay, my bad. So, Caitlin, get with it.
What we're seeing right now, again, whether intentional or not, we can't go to the bar. We can't go to restaurants and talk to other people on the ground. All we can do is go on Twitter and see the radicalization. You can see them scream in your face over and over again, insurrection, insurrection, insurrection. I know people in Chicago who have no business in politics. People who spend their lives just like working behind a bar at a bar and don't care for politics and they love football. All of a sudden now the only thing they talk about is why Trump was bad and why we need all of this far left policy, because the only social interactions they're actually having are online. Now I will take this moment to stress, You didn't think they were going to come for progressives. A lot of people thought it was only going to be conservatives. The reality is most of us who are advocating for free speech, including many conservatives, said they will come for you. They don't like you. So go to timcast.com, become a member, and provide us that
stuff.
So he's like, listen, he's starting to build his own platform and his own website because he's so afraid who's going to take him down. You know, earlier in this video, he says it's so funny that people call him alt-right when he has more leftist political views, but he just is anti-establishment and speaking out against imperialism and all these other things.
I mean, he's definitely on the right when it comes to saying socialism and all this stuff. Like, again, that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
He thinks socialism is, or far left policies are what AOC wants and these people. No, I don't want what she wants. I don't want more censorship. I don't want, like, this is why we need to have these conversations, because I'm not fucking AOC. I'm the anti-AOC.
Well,
I'm like
maybe Tim Pool will take us on to have these conversations, whatnot, we should. But let's first of all talk about who they're actually targeting right now, right? And take a look at this. Right, it wasn't just the fact that we are on the left; it's that we're on the left and we're anti-establishment and we speak out against Joe Biden, right? So that's a reason why they came after leftists who speak out against Joe Biden. And those fringe issues that we talk about, right? They're fringe now. Election integrity, civil liberties, whatnot. Those people who kind of talk about those things, that's who they're going after. So they're going after a specific person on the left. And if they're going after us, it's because we're speaking truth. We're saying we're raging against the machine, and that's something that they really need to pay attention to. So anything about that real quick about, I mean, is he right when they're saying they go after that article in the Blaze? Are they not right when they're saying they're going after people who speak against the establishment?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they were quoting Caitlin Johnstone, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, so here's what our boy Gavin Max Wario Mario said about us.
Really? Oh.
It's coming up, so you're right there.
One of the ones they listed who are great guys, super leftists. They were working with me. They were talking about,
He's
they
talking
loved
about
what we
us.
did down
Move
in
back a little bit so
Reoccupy.
they
They
can
were
hear that, Johnny.
actually on the Convo couch, one of the ones they listed who are great guys, super leftists. They were working with me. They were talking about, they loved what we did down in Reoccupy. They were actually trying to work towards a solution. They weren't controlled opposition like AOC. But you go back to history. I mean, the second the communists take over, the first people they kill are the intellectuals, the academics, all the true believers. They don't need them anymore.
Who fomented the revolution in the first place and who are a threat to their power.
Exactly. The Trotsky.
So, you know, I almost wanted to bring Caleb on to talk about that so he can make an opinion about that. You know what I'm saying? But your thoughts about that? Is there any validity to what they're saying, whatnot?
No, I mean, I think he's talking about Stalin and the gulags,
he is talking about
and that. But again, like, you have to take historical context into it, like Caleb does. You can't just say, "Oh, the communists came in and they killed all these people, and that was that." You have to take into context what was going on and the forces that power that were fighting, and how that there was a need for, at that time, moment in time, for more of a centralized system, because they were getting attacked from all sides, and the Western Empire was right there, ready to jump on. So that there's a part of that they're missing. I think that's historical, but the fact that they're recognizing that I'm different than AOC is a big deal, because I do not want to be, you know, for too long the right, the same way the left does with them. We think they're a monolith. They think that, that's, you know, radical commies, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Ooh, the radical left AOC. They'll do the memes with AOC being a commie. AOC isn't a communist. She's not even a fucking socialist.
No,
she's a cosplay socialist. She pretends she is part of this DSA thing. This is why I have a huge problem with DSA, because this is where she came from. Justice Democrats, they're all cosplay socialists. They basically think that they can get it through the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is what keeps you from ever achieving that, because they malign it. And so then nobody on the other side wants to hear you, because they think you want the Democratic Party. And it works perfect to continue with this divide. But the moment he's getting on, you know, they were cool. They were actually trying to talk to me. You see how fucking powerful that is? When we bring people on who I vehemently disagree with their, you know, with their very basic analysis of what communism is, and I would love to go and talk to them about what it is. And in fact, I would love to have Caleb Maupin go on and explain actual theory, like as well and intricately as he knows it, and why it's different than what they're saying, and why AOC isn't a good representation of it, why Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are nowhere near that, why even Bernie Sanders is nowhere near that. And so these are the conversations that need to happen, because we wouldn't have been mentioned on that show had we not had him on. And we had a Republican on, and we get crap. Oh, you're having white supremacists on. You're having all these Nazis on. Don't you have all these people, all these Nazis to interview? Well, this is why we fucking do this, because now he understands there's a difference between us and AOC, and he goes and tells that to Tim Pool, who has some ideas that I don't agree with, or I think he's mistaken about, whatever the case may be. It's those conversations that are growing and that we need to have more on. Maybe sometime we will be on Tim Pool, and I can tell him exactly what I want and what I think, and we can agree on how much we hate the Democratic Party, but then just disagree on how we want to fix this situation.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so important.
This kid is like wicked smart. He was on the whole show. He did a great job and whatnot and stuff. But he was really taken back, I think, by our conversation and what we said. Even when I, at the very end, and I was really thinking, like, should I do this? Should I not say this? Should I encourage him to take that down? Because the whole BLM writer thing, because I just wanted him to point out to people who've covered this stuff that it is a mechanism where they kind of just pit people at each other, and they say, look at that person, look at this person, whatnot. Yeah. And I think a lot of our problems too, fam, is like when the Tea Party got into play, we kind of made that blanket ideology or a thought process about everybody against the right, and we didn't recognize the actual split that's going on there. Yeah. I think they're now starting to recognize there's a split on the left that's going on, where people are just different than the typical Democrat that's put in front of our face. So that's something to just kind of point out. And the last part, they're just talking about more censorship coming. So take a look.
Yeah, and I remember getting demonetized a few years ago, and a lot of people, kind of celebrating it. I'm like, this is going to hit you. Yeah. And I've been saying this for years. We were even talking about this exact point just a few weeks ago, saying that a lot of the leftists are going to get hit soon, especially with the establishment coming in. It's happening now.
No longer needing them.
And no longer needing them. And I even tweeted today, I feel sorry this happened, and I think they shouldn't be censored, even though I don't believe what they believe in. It doesn't matter. The principle still stands. The ideas should be fought through better ideas. And sadly, that's not happening. And it's devastating. When you get demonetized, I know a lot of companies, independent media, that haven't come back from it, that can't operate anymore, don't operate anymore. And many times they are a lot better than the trash, than the division, than the agenda that they're pushing on the mainstream media. And we're going to have less and less of that.
There you go. Bam.
I mean, I agree 100%. Yeah, I mean, you may be a conservative, but I 100% agree. I don't have to agree with you. And I still think you have the right to have a platform. And I would let that the way we defeat the establishment and the way we come together as a people is we realize that, holy shit, we have a lot more in common. And what if we started talking to each other and figured out a plan to, at the very least, have the ability to fight each other in a place of ideas, to have our ideas go toe to toe, to have those debates. We don't have that ability anymore, because the only debates we get are from the two-party system, which is basically one giant oligarchy. We don't get to hear your ideas or my ideas, because the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment don't want those ideas heard, because those are populist ideas. Those are ideas that are the working people ideas of America, and that would stand in complete and total opposition to what they want and the benefits they need. So this is why they're doing this on the left and the right, because there is an anti-establishment feel right now with everything going on both ends of the spectrum. And I am far left, and I never hide from that. But again, I can have a conversation with somebody and just be like, okay, well, this is why I think you're wrong. And he can be like, well, this is why I think you're wrong. And we can have that debate. Right now, we don't have a chance to have that debate because I'm getting maligned for even mentioning these people. And those people are being called white supremacists explicitly all the time. And then our ideas never get presented or interchanged. And Caleb said it himself. He said, we should be talking to these people. We should be educating people. They have the wrong idea about socialism. And instead of doing that, we're just like completely wanting them to go away. And that's not how you build a movement.
Yeah. Touche, fam. I really don't think I have much more to add on that. We have to be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. It's important right now, and like I love the fact that that stuff's going on. That's why I love bringing on Caleb today, and then seeing Gavin Mario Wax, excuse me. I call him Mario first, but I mean, even seeing him there, having these conversations and what he said about us, I mean, it was just so like, all right, this is what we need to do. But every single time I talk to a lot of these progressives that we've kind of dubbed neo-progressives, they just kind of label the other side as Nazi people and whatnot. And, it really is a shame, because right now the mainstream media and the establishment has people dupes. They had the citizens at each other's throats, and we need to stop this right away. I mean, that's why I've been so wanting to push having these conversations and talk to these Trump people and stuff that think differently than me. I tell them right away, I'm for Medicare for all, and I'm for some form of climate change. I'm really solid about that. But here's where we agree. Let's talk about this. What the best weapon against censorship is more freedom of speech, right? The best weapon for freedom of speech is more freedom of speech.
And we've been saying that on the show. We long called it when what's his face, Alex Jones was deplatformed. We were already fighting. I could see that was the beginning where we were breaking with some progressives who were cheering. I remember saying, I feel sad that people are cheering for this. This isn't good. It's going to come back and bite us
in the ass.
And it absolutely has. And we are those people that are the first. And it's crazy right now. But I think this is progress in a way. At least if not with the progressives who have become the new liberals, this is progress with some people who might be able to hear us and who we could convince. If going on Joe Rogan convinced several Republicans that Sanders wasn't this radical communist, that some of the ideas he had are sensible, maybe more of us, people like us going on right-wing media can convince the right wing that maybe some of the things they have thought that we represent aren't accurate. And that it will be a step into actually introducing this working class theory to a lot of people who have only gotten the maligned imperialist manufactured idea of what socialism or communism is.
Yeah, and Donald Trump didn't help the situation. Neither did Bernie Sanders. When Donald Trump was talking bad about Bernie Sanders, and he really didn't talk that awful about him all the time, but the one time he's a communist socialist/communist, and like, just what are you saying, Donald Trump? You're just kind of just throwing out buzz terms. That's bullshit. It was the same thing with the flag burning
thing. It's like, right?
Yeah, it's just like,
you keep people in line through fear.
And Bernie Sanders didn't reach out enough to say, you know what? Despite him being the most sexist, racist president of all times, I'm going to go talk to him, and I'm going to get an infrastructure bill, and I'm going to put people back to work so they don't starve with their families or something. I mean, right? You know what I'm saying? It was just, it's an all-out, he was really disappointing on the whole situation. And go talk to each other. And if those are the two big populists on both sides, go talk to each other, come up with a plan, and find common ground where we do have common ground.
And
Sorry, fam.
No, you're fine. And there's just a difference between two. There's a significance of also what Caleb said is like, when people are, they're in fear, when people are against the government and they wake up and they see, holy crap, like the government screwing us. If there is not an actual opposition to the status quo, the Democratic Party is not it, and those affiliations with it are not it. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to where they think that there is an anti-establishment movement, and there is that on the right. And the little bit of the left that is there, and we're here, we get shut out by our own people, by progressives, and we get maligned. And those people end up working for the Democratic Party, and we're still here, being anti-establishment and wanting to find another way that's not through necessarily only electoral politics. It's not necessarily through the Democratic Party. But if there's not a socialist there or somebody to explain, hey, wait a minute, this is what my idea is, then they think that's what socialism is. So of course they're going to go to the right. There's a reason why there's a lot of working class white people and working class minorities now who are going to the Republican Party. It's not because all these people suddenly became devotees of Hitler. It's because these people are economically burdened, and that is the natural progression. When you're economically burdened, somebody fear mongers you into thinking that immigrants are your problem or this other person's your problem. You're going to believe that because nobody's there telling you that that's not the case. They're instead blaming you and calling you a racist. They're not taking into context the working class issues, the economic issues that they should be paying attention to. Oh, yes, you're right. You got screwed by NAFTA and TPP. You're right. Obama did that. Yes, Obama was a neoliberal. Obama exported so many jobs, and we really, he hurt the working class.
He said
bailed out the
banks. Get thrown out in the streets.
Focused a foreign policy with
Yeah.
droning sanctions and completely destroyed these communities in Central America that then needed to leave their countries because they were experiencing massive civil unrest. You're right. Those things. But that wasn't socialist policy. That wasn't democratic policy. Those policies are actually global capitalist policies that did that. And we stand against that.
Yeah, and neoliberalism is a global capitalist policy.